Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai's World News. I'm Genai, and we have a packed show for you today because the world did not slow down overnight. Let's dive straight in. We're starting with the story that's touching everyone's daily life right now: fuel costs. The Financial Times is reporting that the ongoing conflict with Iran has now saddled American consumers with an extra $40 billion in fuel spending. To put that in perspective, that's more than it would cost to repair every crumbling bridge in the country, or to completely overhaul the nation's aging air traffic control system. That is a staggering number. And it's not just at the pump. Higher energy prices are feeding through to heating bills, airline tickets, and the price of pretty much everything that gets shipped by truck. Nearly 80 countries, according to the FT, have now introduced some form of emergency energy measure as global oil stockpiles run dangerously low. This Iran crisis isn't just a Middle East story anymore. It is a global economic story, and we're all paying for it. Now let's talk about what's happening in financial markets, because it's pretty dramatic. The Financial Times is reporting that government bonds around the world are extending a significant sell-off, driven by growing fears that surging energy prices are going to reignite inflation. U.S. Treasury yields and Japanese government bond yields are both climbing, which signals that investors are demanding higher returns to hold this debt. Not a great sign for stability. And speaking of Japan, the FT is also reporting that Prime Minister Takaichi has made a remarkable U-turn, now calling for a supplementary budget to deal with the economic fallout from the Iran energy crisis. This after weeks of flatly denying any such plan was on the table. Markets are now worried that Japan will need to issue significantly more bonds to cover the extra spending, which could add further pressure to an already rattled global bond market. Stocks aren't faring much better either, with equity markets under pressure as investors digest what persistently higher energy prices might mean for corporate profits and consumer spending going forward. Shifting now to a major public health story that demands your attention. The BBC is reporting that the World Health Organization has officially declared the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo a public health emergency of international concern. That is the WHO's highest alert level short of a full pandemic declaration. So far, around 246 cases have been recorded, with approximately 80 deaths, a fatality rate that is deeply alarming. The WHO has clarified that while the situation is serious enough to warrant international emergency status, it does not yet meet the criteria for a pandemic-level emergency. Still, international concern is mounting. The DRC has battled multiple Ebola outbreaks over the years, but the combination of difficult terrain, ongoing conflict in the region, and limited healthcare infrastructure always makes containment a serious challenge. Global health authorities are urging countries to boost surveillance and prepare for possible spread. This is a story we will absolutely be tracking closely in the days ahead. Over in Europe, negotiators are working around the clock according to the Financial Times. The European Union is scrambling to put together a workable trade compromise before a looming deadline set by the Trump administration on tariffs. The pressure is intense. European exporters are already dealing with higher energy costs from the Iran conflict, and the prospect of additional U.S. tariffs landing on top of that is making business leaders extremely nervous. On a related note, the FT is also reporting that European and Gulf state leaders have been holding discussions about the broader economic fallout from the Iran war, trying to coordinate on energy security and regional stability. Separately, the EU is also pushing forward a proposal that would require companies in key industries, specifically chemicals and industrial machinery, to source components from non-Chinese suppliers. That's a significant move in the ongoing effort to reduce strategic dependency on Beijing. And on the China-US trade front, American defense contractors are reportedly lobbying Washington to delay an upcoming ban on Chinese rare earth magnets, saying they simply need more time to find alternative supply chains. The global trade picture right now is extraordinarily complex. Let's head to Asia now for a significant diplomatic moment. The BBC is reporting that Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has made his first direct public response to the recent Trump-Xi summit, where the two leaders reportedly discussed the question of Taiwanese independence. President Lai was measured but firm, saying Taiwan will not take any action to provoke a conflict, but equally will not surrender its sovereignty under any circumstances. That's a careful balancing act, because Taiwan has to navigate a world where its biggest trading partner and its most powerful security guarantor, the U.S., is in active dialogue with China, a country that claims Taiwan as its own territory. The international community will be watching very closely to see how Washington responds to Li's statement, and whether the broader U.S.-China-Taiwan dynamic shifts in the weeks ahead. It's a high-stakes geopolitical triangle, and right now, every word from every leader matters enormously. Now for a story at the intersection of artificial intelligence and global financial stability, and it's a big one. The Financial Times is reporting that Anthropic, the American AI company behind the Claude models, is preparing to brief the Financial Stability Board, that's the international body that monitors risks to the global financial system, about cybersecurity vulnerabilities that were exposed by its new AI model, called Mythos. The fact that a major AI company is proactively going to financial regulators to flag potential weaknesses in its own system is notable. It suggests the capabilities of these new models are powerful enough to pose risks that go well beyond the tech sector and could affect banks, markets, and financial infrastructure. This briefing could be a pivotal moment in how regulators around the world start thinking about AI oversight, not just as a technology issue, but as a financial stability issue. Watch this space. And before we wrap up, here's a story that caught everyone's attention overnight. The BBC is reporting that 2 U.S. Navy fighter jets collided midair during an air show in the United States. The moment was captured on video and is, frankly, terrifying to watch. But here's the relief. All 4 crew members aboard the 2 aircraft ejected safely and are reported to be in a stable condition. Investigators are now working to determine what caused the collision. Air shows involve incredibly precise, coordinated flying at high speeds and low altitudes, and incidents like this, while rare, are a stark reminder of just how demanding and dangerous military aviation truly is. We're glad everyone is okay, and we'll bring you updates as the investigation